There is a force inside every human being that determines the trajectory of their life, a force that dictates success or failure, happiness or misery, connection or disconnection. And that force is decision, the power to decide, the power to choose how to respond, how to act, how to create the life you were meant to live. Because let's be real, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Every situation, every struggle, every moment of pain is designed to shape you, to push you to your next level. But the question is, are you stepping up? Are you rising to the occasion? Or are you sitting in the shadows, letting life slip through your fingers, blaming circumstances, pointing fingers, making excuses? You know what separates those who win in life from those who lose? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not the perfect timing or the perfect circumstances. It's focus. The ones who win in life are the ones who refuse to dwell in the past. They refuse to let pain define them. They refuse to let the actions of another person determine their emotional state, because they understand a fundamental truth. When you give your power away, you lose control over your own destiny. Let me tell you something. People spend so much time analyzing, overthinking, obsessing about why things happen. But the truth is, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you do now. What matters is the meaning you assign to your experiences. You get to decide whether something is a curse or a blessing. You get to decide whether you're going to suffer or whether you're going to rise. Because at the end of the day, nothing has power over you unless you allow it to. Not silence, not distance, not uncertainty. The only thing that has power over you is your own mind. And if you let external circumstances dictate your internal world, you're living as a slave to something outside yourself. You ever notice how the most powerful people in the world don't beg for attention? They don't chase. They don't waste energy wondering, questioning, waiting. They decide, they create, they move forward. And that's exactly what you must do. Because the moment you shift your focus from what's missing to what you can build, everything changes. Now let's get real. There are moments when silence feels like the loudest noise in the world, when the absence of words screams louder than any conversation ever could. But here's the thing. Silence is not a weapon unless you allow it to be. It's not rejection unless you perceive it that way. It's not an ending unless you decide it is. Silence is simply information. It's data. It's feedback. And your job is to take that feedback and use it to fuel your growth. Most people waste their lives trapped in a cycle of reaction. Reacting to what someone else does or doesn't do, reacting to circumstances outside their control. But winners, leaders, don't react. They create. They take full responsibility for their emotions, their state, their future. They don't wait for someone else to validate them. They don't wait for permission to move forward. They don't wait for closure, because they understand the power of decision. And the moment you make the decision to stop waiting, to stop wondering, to stop hoping for things to be different, you reclaim your power. You shift from being at the mercy of circumstances to being the architect of your own life. You stop living in the past and start creating your future. Think about it. If something is meant for you, it will align with you. It will grow with you. It will add to your life, not subtract from it. And if it's not there, if it's not showing up, if it's not moving toward you, then why waste another second chasing it? Why waste another breath trying to force what isn't flowing? Because the truth is, you don't need anyone to complete you. You don't need anyone to define you. You don't need external validation to feel worthy. You were born with everything you need already inside you. But most people go through life never tapping into that power because they're too busy looking outward instead of inward. And that stops now. Right here. Right now. You make a decision. You decide to elevate. You decide to focus on your growth, your purpose, your mission. Because when you're focused on becoming the best version of yourself, everything that is truly meant for you will align naturally. No force, no struggle, no confusion, just flow. So today, you make a commitment to stop looking back, a commitment to stop questioning, a commitment to stop needing answers that don't change anything, because the only answer that matters is the one you choose. This is your moment. This is your time. You either step up or you step back. You either let life happen to you, or you take the reins and make it happen for you. The choice is yours. Every single moment of your life is shaped by one thing. decisions, not luck, not circumstances, not what someone else does or doesn't do. It's the choices you make in the face of those circumstances that define your destiny. Most people go through life thinking they have no control, waiting for something or someone to make them feel a certain way. But that's the biggest lie you could ever believe. The truth is, nothing changes until you decide. Think about it. How many times have you seen two people go through the exact same situation, yet one rises and the other falls? One person gets rejected and spirals into self-doubt, while another gets rejected and uses it as fuel to grow stronger. One person experiences failure and gives up, while another experiences failure and doubles down on their commitment to succeed. The situation isn't what makes the difference. It's the decision that follows. Because the moment you decide that something will not break you, it loses its power. The moment you decide that you will keep moving forward no matter what, you become unstoppable. That's the difference between those who succeed and those who struggle. Those who struggle let life happen to them. They let their emotions be controlled by the actions of other people. They let silence, rejection, or uncertainty dictate their self-worth. But the ones who rise, they take ownership of everything. They don't waste time waiting for someone else to act. They don't wait for permission to move forward. They decide. And that decision shapes everything. You have to ask yourself, are you living by design or by default? Because if you don't take control of your decisions, you'll live by default. You'll wake up every day reacting to whatever happens instead of creating what you want. And when you live like that, you give your power away. You let external things dictate your happiness. You let the presence or absence of a person determine whether you feel valued. And that is not the path to freedom. Real power is in knowing that no matter what happens, you will be okay. No matter who stays or who goes, you are still in control of your future. No matter what silence or distance appears in your life, you decide what meaning to give it. And the meaning you give it will determine whether you feel pain or power. Some people spend years stuck in the same emotional cycle because they never decide to break free. They keep waiting for something external to change so they can feel different inside. But that's not how it works. The change happens inside first. You have to decide that your peace, your happiness, and your future are too important to be dictated by circumstances you can't control. And let's be real. This isn't easy. Because the mind wants comfort. It wants to hold on to the past. It wants to analyze, to wonder, to seek answers that don't even matter. But you have to train yourself to move differently. You have to train yourself to recognize when your mind is trying to pull you back into a place that no longer serves you. And in those moments, you decide. You decide to shift your focus. You decide to break the cycle. You decide that you are no longer available for anything that drains you, confuses you, or keeps you stuck. And the second you do that, everything changes. Because when you shift your focus from what's missing to what you're building, you move from a place of weakness to a place of power. Most people don't realize how much power they have over their own lives because they're too focused on what they can't control. But when you step into your power, when you take full ownership of your emotions, your mindset, and your actions, you become unstoppable. Because no matter what happens outside of you, nothing can. The difference between those who live an extraordinary life and those who stay stuck is simple. Those who win decide. They don't wait for a sign. They don't wait for an apology. They don't wait for things to be easy. They make the decision to move forward, no matter what. So the real question is, what are you deciding right now? Because whether you realize it or not, you are making decisions every single day. You're deciding whether to dwell in the past or create the future. You're deciding whether to focus on what's gone or what's possible. You're deciding whether to wait or whether to act. And those decisions are shaping your entire life. Your power is in your choice. And the moment you start making different choices, you create a different life. Most people live their lives in reaction mode. They wake up and immediately check their phone, reacting to messages, emails, notifications. They let their emotions be dictated by what other people say or don't say, what someone does or doesn't do. Their entire state of mind is controlled by forces outside of them, and they wonder why they feel stuck, frustrated, powerless. But the people who create extraordinary lives, They don't waste time reacting. They are too busy creating. They wake up with intention. They move with purpose. They don't let external noise shake them because they are laser focused on what they are building. The difference between success and failure, between happiness and misery, between power and weakness is where you put your focus. If your focus is on what's missing, on what you don't have, on what's not happening, then you will feel lack. You will feel frustrated. You will feel stuck. But if your focus is on what you can create, on what you can build, on where you are going, then you will feel energized. You will feel inspired. You will feel unstoppable because the mind follows focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. Most people don't even realize how much energy they waste living in reaction mode. They spend their days overanalyzing situations that can't be changed, replaying past conversations in their head, waiting for someone else to make a move so they can feel a certain way. But waiting is weakness. Waiting puts your life in someone else's hands. The second you stop reacting and start creating, you take your power back. You no longer need to wait for a message to feel validated. You no longer need to wait for closure to move forward. You no longer need to wait for permission to live your life because you realize you were in control the entire time. Think about this. What could you accomplish if you took all the energy you've spent worrying, overthinking, waiting, and instead put it into building something extraordinary? What if, instead of wasting time reacting to what someone else is doing, you put that time into developing your skills, growing your mindset, pushing yourself toward the next level? How different would your life look a year from now, 5 years from now? Because that's the difference between those who stay stuck and those who rise. Those who stay stuck keep waiting, reacting, hoping. Those who rise take action. They move forward whether they feel ready or not. They don't need external circumstances to be perfect because they create their own opportunities. The truth is, nothing outside of you has power over you unless you allow it to. Not silence, not uncertainty, not rejection. The only thing that has power over you is what you choose to focus on. And if your focus is on what you don't have, you will always feel empty. If your focus is on what didn't happen, you will always feel disappointed. But if your focus is on what's ahead, on what you are building, on how you are growing, then nothing can stop you. People who win in life don't spend time dwelling on the past. They don't waste energy wondering why things didn't go a certain way. They don't get caught up in the endless loop of what if and why. They focus on what's next. They focus on how they can improve. They focus on where they are going, not where they've been, because they understand that every moment spent looking back is a moment lost moving forward. And let's be real. This isn't about pretending you don't feel emotions. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about recognizing that you have a choice in how you respond. You have a choice in what you give your energy to. And if something is draining you, if something is keeping you stuck, then it's time to shift your focus. Because the second you stop reacting and start creating, you move from a place of weakness to a place of strength. You are no longer waiting for things to change. You are making them change. Every time you focus on what's missing, you reinforce a state of lack. Every time you focus on what's possible, you reinforce a state of abundance. The choice is yours. And the moment you shift your focus, everything else shifts with it. Because the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your focus. If you focus on pain, you feel pain. If you focus on growth, you feel empowered. The question is, what are you going to do with your energy? Are you going to spend it reacting, waiting, overthinking, or are you going to take that energy and use it to build something that makes you unstoppable? Because the moment you make that shift, the moment you commit to focusing only on what you can create, you move from being at the mercy of circumstances to being in complete control of your destiny. Silence has a way of amplifying everything inside you. It takes your deepest fears, your insecurities, your doubts, and magnifies them. It makes you question yourself. It makes you wonder what you did wrong, what you could have done differently, what you should have seen coming. And if you let it, silence will consume you. It will become a prison, trapping you in an endless cycle of overthinking, analyzing, searching for answers that may never come. But the truth is, silence is not a punishment. It's not rejection. It's not something that has power over you unless you give it power. Most people don't know how to handle silence. They panic. They fill it with assumptions, with fears, with stories that may not even be real. They make silence mean something painful, something negative. But silence in itself is neutral. It's just information. It's data. It's feedback. And how you interpret that feedback will determine whether it controls you or frees you. Think about it. When a conversation stops, when communication fades, when distance grows, your mind rushes to fill in the gaps. And what does it fill it with? Usually the worst case scenario. Doubt creeps in. Insecurity takes over. You start thinking in terms of lack, in terms of what's missing. And when you focus on what's missing, you feel powerless. You feel out of control. But what if instead you trained yourself to see silence for what it really is? A shift, a signal, a moment of truth. Because silence always reveals something. It reveals priorities. It reveals alignment. It reveals whether something is growing or whether it's naturally fading. And that information is valuable. It tells you where to put your energy and where to let go. But most people don't use silence as information. They use it as a weapon against themselves. They let it eat away at their confidence. They let it create doubt where there should be clarity. But you have to break that cycle. You have to remind yourself that silence is not something to fear. It's not something to resist. It's just another form of communication. And when you start seeing it that way, you stop reacting to it emotionally. You stop feeling powerless. You stop assigning meanings that drain you. Instead, you observe. You take it as data. You ask yourself, what is this showing me? What is this teaching me? Where is this guiding me? Because if something is aligned with your life, with your growth, with your purpose, it will move toward you. It will engage. It will build. And if it's not, then silence is simply redirecting you to something better. It's showing you what's not in harmony with where you're going. And that is a gift. The problem is most people don't trust that process. They resist it. They fight against it. They try to force what isn't flowing. They chase answers, chase explanations, chase clarity. But when you're chasing, you're moving in the wrong direction. You're operating from a place of lack instead of abundance. You're focusing on what's slipping away instead of what's ahead. But the truth is, you don't need an explanation to move forward. You don't need closure to decide your worth. You don't need external validation to know that you are enough. What you need is to trust. Trust that silence is creating space for what truly belongs in your life. Trust that what is right for you will never require you to beg for attention. Trust that you are strong enough to sit with uncertainty and not let it shake your confidence. Because real power comes from within. It comes from knowing that no matter what happens outside of you, you are in control of your response. You are in control of your energy. You are in control of your future. And the moment you stop reacting to silence and start using it as a tool for clarity, you elevate. You rise above the need for validation. You step into a new level of strength. And that strength changes everything. It changes the way you move, the way you think, the way you show up in the world. Because when you no longer fear silence, you stop settling. You stop chasing. You stop giving your energy to things that drain you. Instead, you focus on what's growing, on what's flowing, on what's moving in alignment with you. This is where freedom begins. Freedom from overthinking, freedom from self-doubt, freedom from the need to control things that are not yours to control. And when you embrace that freedom, you realize something powerful. You were never missing anything. You were never lacking. You were never not enough. Silence didn't take anything from you. It only revealed what was never fully there in the first place. And that is the truth that sets you free. You were born with everything you need to succeed. That's not just a motivational quote. That's the reality of your existence. The problem is, most people go through life thinking they need something outside themselves to be complete. They think they need approval, validation, recognition, or some external force to make them feel worthy. But what if I told you that all of that is an illusion? What if I told you that everything you need to live a fulfilled, powerful, successful life is already inside of you? The world tells you that you need to chase after things to feel whole. It tells you that you need someone to affirm your worth, that you need to earn love or attention, that you need to prove your value. But the truth is, none of that defines you. You were born with infinite potential. The only thing standing between you and everything you desire is the belief that you're not already enough. From the moment you were born, you were equipped with everything required to live a life of greatness. The ability to think, to learn, to adapt, to grow, to create. You have the capacity for unlimited growth within you. The real question is, are you willing to recognize it? Are you willing to stop seeking outside yourself for what's already inside you? Think about it. How many times have you looked at someone else and thought, I wish I had what they have? Or, if I could just be like them, I'd be successful. But what if they're not the answer? What if instead the answer is looking inward and realizing that the strength, the talent, the ability, and the power you're seeking externally have always been there, locked inside you, just waiting for you to unleash them? Every day you are presented with opportunities to grow. Every moment offers you the chance to decide who you are and who you will become. But too often you wait for someone or something to make that decision for you. You wait for permission. You wait for validation. You wait for someone to tell you that you're good enough. But that wait is your biggest mistake, because nothing and no one can define your worth except you. You're already complete. You don't need anything or anyone to validate that. You are not the sum of your past mistakes, your failures, or your setbacks. You are the sum of your potential, of what you are capable of becoming. And when you realize that, when you embrace the fact that you are already enough, something inside you shifts. You stop chasing after what's missing and start creating what's next. When you stop looking for external sources of validation, you free yourself from the prison of comparison. You stop measuring your worth based on how you stack up against others, and instead, you focus on the journey of becoming your best self. This shift in focus allows you to live authentically without the need to prove anything to anyone. Because when you're operating from a place of knowing that you are complete, you stop letting outside forces dictate your happiness. Imagine the freedom that comes from this realization. Imagine waking up every day knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. Imagine stepping into every challenge with the confidence that you already have everything you need to face it. Imagine creating your future without constantly seeking permission or approval from anyone. That's the power that lies within you. And the only thing standing in your way is your willingness to recognize it. You have the power to redefine who you are at any moment. You have the ability to transform your life through the decisions you make and the belief you hold in yourself. The only thing that limits you is your own mindset. The moment you shift from a place of scarcity, from a place of thinking you need to fix something about yourself, to a place of abundance, to a place of knowing that you are already whole, everything changes. And this isn't just about your personal growth. It's about your impact on the world. When you know you are enough, when you know you have something valuable to offer, you stop shrinking in the presence of others. You stop holding yourself back. Instead, you show up as the most authentic version of yourself. And that authenticity, it's magnetic. It attracts the right opportunities, the right people, the right circumstances, because when you show up as your true self, unapologetically, you open the door for your life to flow in alignment with what's truly meant for you. No one can give you permission to step into your greatness. No one can make you feel worthy. Only you have the power to do that. And when you embrace that power, when you stop waiting for external validation, the world starts to respond to you differently. You start to create the life you desire, not by seeking approval, but by stepping into your own power. The truth is, you've always been worthy. You've always been capable. And the moment you stop searching for something outside yourself to make you feel complete, you unlock a whole new level of potential. You stop living in the what ifs and start living in the I am. You realize that nothing and no one can define your worth. Only you can do that. And when you make that decision, everything changes. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're enough. You don't need anyone to validate your dreams. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're worthy of success, because when you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you are already enough, you step into a new level of power. And that power, that confidence, is what will propel you forward to create the life you've always wanted. So the next time you feel the need to seek approval, to look outside yourself for validation, remember this: you are already complete. You are already enough. And when you start living from that place, the world will begin to reflect it back to you in ways you never imagined. There's something incredibly liberating about understanding that your worth isn't determined by the opinions or actions of others. It's not based on how many people admire you, how many people agree with your choices, or how successful you are by external standards. It's based on one thing, you. When you begin to internalize this truth, you stop chasing fleeting moments of validation and start focusing on what truly matters. You stop searching for people to affirm your value and start recognizing it in yourself. When you stop looking for external confirmation, you start realizing that what you've been searching for has always been within you. You were born with it. You always had it. The world doesn't need to give you permission to be great. You have the authority to create greatness from within. Think of the times you've let others define who you are. Maybe it was a parent's judgment, a partner's critique, a friend's dismissal. Maybe it was society's standards of success or beauty, or the unrealistic portrayals of perfection you see on social media. Every time you allowed someone else to define your worth, you were telling yourself that you were incomplete, that you weren't enough as you were. But that narrative doesn't serve you. It's a false story that you've been conditioned to believe. And now you have the power to rewrite it. You see, your worth is not based on external circumstances, nor is it contingent on anyone's approval. It's inherent. It's built into you. You came into this world with all the potential you need to create your future. The strength, the resilience, the creativity, the intelligence. They are all inside of you, waiting for you to tap into them. The key to unlocking that potential is understanding that you are already complete. You don't need to chase anything outside yourself to feel whole. You are whole as you are. This mindset shift is powerful. Once you stop measuring yourself by other people's standards, you become unstoppable. When you no longer seek validation from the outside, you unlock the full potential of your inner strength. You give yourself permission to be you, to be authentic, to be real, to be powerful. No more pretending, no more hiding, no more shrinking to fit someone else's mold. You become the person you were always meant to be. And when you step into that power, you start to attract the right things into your life, opportunities, relationships, success. All of them start flowing to you effortlessly because the energy you emit changes. When you are confident in who you are, when you are grounded in your self-worth, you send out a signal to the world that you are ready for what's meant for you. People who resonate with that energy will be drawn to you. Opportunities that align with your purpose will appear. It's not about chasing after them anymore. It's about becoming the person who naturally attracts them. Too many people spend their lives chasing approval. They change who they are to fit the mold of what they think others want them to be. They give away their power in the hopes of gaining something they already have: love, acceptance, success. But when you realize that you don't need to change for anyone, you stop playing small. You stop hiding behind a mask. You stop trying to be something you're not to get people to like you or approve of you. You show up as your true, authentic self, and that's when the magic happens. It's time to stop waiting for someone to tell you that you're good enough. You're already good enough. You've always been enough. No one can take that away from you unless you let them. Don't let anyone diminish your worth or make you believe you're not worthy of greatness. Don't let the opinions of others define your potential. You are the one who gets to decide who you are. You are the one who gets to decide what you're capable of. And once you realize this, you stop playing small. You stop doubting yourself. You stop second-guessing your dreams. Because when you know that you are enough, you begin to act with confidence. You stop waiting for permission to pursue your goals, to go after what you truly want in life. You stop letting fear hold you back. Instead, you move forward with a sense of certainty, knowing that your worth is not up for debate. You are enough. And that is the foundation for everything you will create moving forward. You can't build a life of abundance and success if you're constantly doubting your own worth. You can't move forward if you're always looking back at the mistakes you've made or the people who told you weren't enough. You have to release that baggage and embrace the truth. You are complete. You are worthy. And when you truly believe that, nothing can stop you. This shift in mindset doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. But once you start shifting your perception of yourself, everything begins to change. The way you show up in the world changes. The way you interact with others changes. The way you approach challenges changes. And the best part, the world begins to respond to you differently. When you project confidence and self-worth, the universe responds by bringing more of the same back to you. Opportunities align with your energy. People see you for who you truly are, and they respect and value you in ways you never imagined. You no longer need to seek approval because you're no longer dependent on it. You're no longer bound by the opinions of others. You stand firm in your own worth and let that guide your decisions, your actions, and your interactions. The need for validation slips away, and in its place, a sense of inner peace and power grows stronger. When you stop seeking approval, you step into your true power. You take full ownership of who you are. You stop pretending to be something you're not and start embracing the person you were always meant to be. And when you do that, you stop living for others and you start living for you. So here's the truth. You are enough. You have always been enough. And the only person who needs to know that is you. When you fully embrace your worth, you open the doors to everything you've ever wanted. It's not about waiting for someone else to tell you that you're worthy. It's about deciding right now that you already are. The truth is, your life is shaped by the decisions you make, not the circumstances or external forces that try to define you. You have the power within you to break free from the need for validation, the need for external approval, and the need for answers that come from others. The silence, the distance, and the space that may arise in your life are not punishments, but opportunities for growth and reflection. When you stop looking outside yourself for your worth and your direction, you unlock your greatest power. You were born with everything you need to succeed, to thrive, and to live a life that is meaningful and full of purpose. You are complete as you are. The moment you accept that truth, you stop chasing what you think you need, and you start creating the life that is meant for you. Your value is not contingent on anyone else's approval, and your future is not determined by the presence or absence of others in your life. When you take control of your decisions, trust your own abilities, and embrace your own worth, you begin to transform your life in ways that are unimaginable. This is not about waiting for something or someone to change in order to feel complete. It's about recognizing that you are already whole. The journey to your best self starts with a simple yet profound realization. You are enough. The rest of the world can only reflect what you believe about yourself. When you stand in your own power, in your own truth, the world responds accordingly. You attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances because your energy shifts from seeking approval to living authentically. Your future is not in the hands of anyone else. It's in yours. So take back your power. Make the decision to live from a place of abundance, not lack. Stop waiting for permission. The answers are within you. And when you begin to act from that place of certainty, that place of knowing that you are enough, everything you want will start to unfold. Now is the time to create your life. You already have what you need. You always have. All it takes is the decision to step forward with confidence, with strength, and with the belief that your worth is already established. No one else can define it. It's yours to claim.